So I wanted to show you guys just a few more ways of selecting color and then saving the color into your swatches panel. So one panel I wanted to show you guys is the color panel. So if we go up to window and color, we can find it there. Or if we hover over here, we can find this. It looks like a traditional painter's palette icon. And if I click on that, I'm going to get a color histogram. And this is going through right now the RGB spectrum. So if you look at my fill in the toolbox as I'm dragging and clicking and dragging over this histogram, I'm basically choosing the colors that I want. So this is another way to select your colors without actually going through the color picker. The other thing I can do is click on the options icon and go to show options. And then I can find kind of the other ways of picking the color, scrolling through the RGB values. I'll go back to the options icon and I'll go to HSB, so hue, saturation, and brightness. I can use CMYK. From here I could actually go to create new swatch, which is going to do the same thing. It's going to add that new swatch to the panel. I could also click and drag this preview into the swatches panel, and I'll go ahead and go back to hue, brightness. I'll go ahead and find a new color on this histogram, so I'm clicking and dragging over it, and I'll find maybe a yellow. Okay, so now that I've selected that color, let me show you another way of finding color matches or different color combinations. I can find the color guide panel through the window, or it's usually coupled up right next to the color panel. So right here in this tab, I have this thing called color guide. So now based on that one color, it's giving me all the different shades and all the different tints of that color I could use. So if I select those with holding shift and selecting those, and then come over here to the save color group icon, I can actually save all of those colors with just one click, and now they're all in one group. After I do that, things get a little wonky though, because it's basing that color guide on actually a whole bunch of colors now instead of one color. I'll go back to the color panel and I'll choose a different color. Then I'll come back to color guide, and now what I'm going to do is click on this button with a downwards arrow. It's called Harmony Rules, and I'm basically going to get a bunch of different color schemes that are pretty common in the art world. So your complementary color scheme. So now it gives me all the shades of both the color I selected and its complement. I could get a split complement. I could get the analogous colors, so everything that's very close on the color wheel to that. I could get just a monochromatic group of colors based on that one color, and so on. I'll go ahead and try to do the triad right here, triad 2. So I kind of like this group of colors, but before I actually save it to my swatches, I'm going to click on this icon right here. It's called Edit Colors. So I'll click on that, and this used to actually be a plugin or a third-party program for Adobe Illustrator Colors, and they've slowly integrated it into the program, which is really cool. So I can actually take what this is a triad color scheme, and I can start to modify the saturation. So if I pull this in, now it's getting less saturated. If I pull it out, it gets more saturated. I can move it around and change the hue, but even as I move it around, it's going to maintain a triadic color scheme. Pull some of these base colors down a little bit more. And I could come in here and actually decide that, hey, I don't want to do a triad scheme, so I clicked on this one. I actually want to do a split complementary, so now I'm back to a different map with a different configuration. Okay, let's say I like this. Okay, I can see up here in my color guide, it's kind of reflected this new choice I have for my colors. I'll click OK. I'll just say yes, I want to save the changes I've made to the color group. So now that I have those colors that I want in that split complementary color scheme, I'll go ahead and click on this first one, and then hold down on the shift key and click on this last one, and I'll go ahead and click on the save as a color group icon right over here, and now I have all of those colors all loaded into my swatches panel, and I can use those for a project, and I know that as I use those, I'm using a split complementary color scheme.